Okay, this is Web Development Lesson 3. We're going to be talking a lot about CSS, Flex, and Selectors. So this is all going to be about CSS, so you have a good understanding. And can you see the video screen okay?
Yes, I can.
All right, good deal. All right. So the concepts, we're going to be learning how to use CSS in real-life applications. From websites to smartphones and tablets. But this can be challenging. You know, understanding the concepts that make the styling code work will help us to achieve the look and feel that we want on devices as programmers. You know, a lot of times when we're trying to target different devices, things look all screwy on one device, and then on the website they look good, you know, and stuff like that. So it's a real challenge because they call it cross-browser compatible, because now in smartphones we have a browser, we have a Google Chrome browser, and in tablets we have browsers, and in computers we have browsers, and each one of those devices have different screen sizes. So the way that we deal with those issues is we give them all a different look and feel, by targeting the screen size. The structure of CSS. This lesson's more about the structure of CSS. Since you've already been using CSS in coding, it's important that you understand selectors and pseudo-selectors and how you can make them work for you in your application. We're going to be working in a real live application, so it's important that we have our FTP all set up, which we do, and then we have our server set up as well. So the table of contents for today. We're going to be talking about flex positioning, selectors, pseudo-selectors, and what the difference is, and then viewport. Viewport, you'll notice that it's a simple meta tag that we put in the header, but for mobile devices that just automatically enlarges the text. But we're going to be getting into that. Okay, so first of all, flex positioning in CSS is relatively something new for the mobile popular devices. Flex is short for flexible, of course, so it'll flex with whatever the contents beside it or underneath it or whatever. But please keep in mind that if you are developing an application using Flex and bring it up on an older device, it probably will not work. But you really don't have to worry a lot of times about these older devices because they're becoming non-existent anyway. Like Windows XP, I still have maybe 2 clients out of 1,000 that use Windows XP, but it's just one of those things that are dying out. So it's important that you program for the future, because what works in Windows XP now isn't going to work on the newer devices, and you really need to program for newer devices. So if we dive in, we're going to dive into the CSS and use Flex in our commands and our selectors, and we're going to be using our FTP to do that. So you're already connected, but you'll remember in the last lesson we had to connect using Notepad++, so we're connected there just fine. You're able to download and upload and save files. So we're going to connect again, and we're going to make a new file, and you're going to right-click and create a new file over there and call it flex.html, and then you'll right-click over that folder and then select Create New File.
Okay, right-click. Create new file.
And then call it flex.html. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that's done.
Now copy everything from your index.html file from the last lesson and paste it into the new flex.html document.
Currently it has all those, this is the sidebar things in it. I copy that too?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay, and then I'm going to paste it in the Flex file?
Yep, sure are.
Okay, that's done.
Okay, now inside your body tag, type in the following HTML to change the structure. Inside the body tag, what we want to do is we want to put this right here. Now, what I did was on the A1 Website Pro page, I gave you this code so that you could just copy and paste it. So if you go to the A1 Website Pro for class sessions, you'll see under Lesson 3, if you click for Lesson 3, There's an HTML
Okay.
code, and that's what you want to put. You want to replace both the opening and closing body tags. Just copy that whole thing and replace it. And let me know when you have that done so I can check on it.
Okay.
And you're putting that in the flex.html page.
And I'm going to put it where? I'm going to put it in the body tag?
Yeah. Replace
under the body tag?
Yeah, replace the entire body tag. You know,
Oh.
you know where the opening and closing body tag is.
Okay, yeah.
So highlight all of that and everything within it, and just paste this code in there. And let me know when you have that done so I can check on it.
Okay, it's done.
All right, let me look.
Oh, maybe that flex positioning.
Okay, you copied the CSS. You didn't copy the HTML. Go back to the A1 website pro page, and right where it says HTML code, not the CSS code, the HTML code.
Okay, going back now.
Yeah. And you want to copy everything in there.
Okay, now check it.
All righty. All right, very good. Now I want you to go to your style.css file, download it by double-clicking on it.
The whole thing?
Yeah, just double-click the. Did you already download your style.css?
You mean? Well, you know, I've got that one tab that's still in there, and it has all the has everything in it from the last time. Is that the one we're looking at?
Okay, over on the right-hand side, you should see your index.html, your flex.html, and style.css. Do you see that on the right?
Oh, yes, I do.
Double-click the style.css and load it up into your window so we can start editing that file.
Okay, all right. Now I copy all of it?
No, not yet. What you want to do is we're going to learn something about commenting outlines of code. Okay, so in CSS, sometimes we need to comment outlines of code in order to debug a script. Now we do that by using a / and then an asterisk, then comment, and then another asterisk and a /. And this is an example of what it looks like. Okay.
Okay.
Where you see the red marks. Now we can also
yes.
we can also comment outlines of code in this way, and this is what I want you to do with what you have in the document. So go at the very top and put that first / and an asterisk, and you're going to see everything on Notepad gets grayed out. Okay.
Okay.
Did you see it get grayed out?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Hold on just a second.
Okay.
I had some kind of weird what happened. Okay, so I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna put it. The slash.
It's gonna be the
asterisk square.
It's gonna be the very first thing before anything. You go to the very top line, put the / and the asterisk.
In the style CSS.
Style.css, correct.
Even before body.
Yes, even before body. It'd be the very first thing on there.
Okay.
Okay. And then you'll go to the very end of the style.css and then do the asterisk / to reverse it. And then we're going to be working underneath of that. Okay?
Okay, just a second.
And save it and then so I could see what you've done.
Oh, I think I did it backwards. Just a minute.
/ asterisk starts the commenting out, and then asterisk / ends the commenting.
Okay.
Okay. Did you save it?
Everything turned.
Okay, very good. I'm looking at your work and you did it properly. Okay. Except for the closing asterisk. The closing is the asterisk comes first and then the slash.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me know when you have that saved.
Okay. Okay, I did that.
All right, very good. Now we're going to go after that closing asterisk, okay? And then we're going to put in this style.css, okay? And you can find that on A1 Website Pro, where it says...
Oh, that was the thing I copied.
Yeah, CSS code. So just copy that entire thing.
Even the slash asterisk positioning.
Yep. I want you to.
Line.
Yep. Copy the whole thing.
Okay, I have it copied. Now where am I putting it?
Now that closing asterisk tag in your style.css, go after that, and then paste that in there, and then save the file.
Okay, done.
Okay, let me look. Okay, very good. Now, look at your flex.html page. Okay, load it up. I'll put it in the comment section so you could go right to it on the chat section.
Okay. So it's a big white page. Is it a big white page? No. It says this is the header.
This is the navigation. This is the main content. You don't see any gray in there?
See any gray?
Yeah.
Let me click your link again. Make sure I did it right. Do it again.
Yeah, you did it right. I'm on your flex.html. You did everything properly. I'm just making sure that you're on the right page. You shouldn't be on index.html. Just flex.html in your browser. If you click on the little chat box that we have on the video, I sent you a direct link to it.
Yeah, that's what I clicked. That's what I clicked.
Okay, and what are you seeing?
Let me just let me close some of these pages.
Okay.
So I don't need I do not need that page with all the colors on it, right?
No.
And so no. What I have is 104.238.72.85 / tilde ticket/robin/flex.html.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
Yeah, and what do you see? This is the header.
A big white page that says this is the header, this is navigation, this is the main content, this is the aside content, this is the footer.
Okay, hold your control button down and hit refresh if that's not in gray.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Refresh.
Yeah, you just had a cache issue on your browser. No biggie. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we pasted in that style. All right. So we put all of this code in there underneath the asterisks, and then you gotta have a page that looks like this after you upload the files to the server. You know, this is the header, this is navigation, main content, this is the aside content, this is the footer. Okay. So now you'll notice if you look at the style sheet now, the commands that are being applied, that we have a body selector of a margin of 0. Now, we did this just in case the browser CSS has given a margin to the body tag. Now, remember we talked last week or the week before how browsers have their own CSS in them. You know, Chrome has its own CSS, and we looked at the default CSS commands. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So, excuse me. Firefox has them, Internet Explorer has them, but we wanted to make sure that the body has a margin of 0. So that's why we put that in the CSS. Now, next thing, we targeted the page wrap ID. Now remember that the page wrap div has everything inside of it except the body tag, right?
Right.
So we gave this a command of display flex, which means that we want this particular div to be flexible as well. The flex flow property is a shorthand property for the flex direction and the flex wrap property. So if you're looking down through that style sheet and those things that we've done to it, you'll be following right along with the presentation there. So page wrap, we have display flex, and then flex hyphen flow colon row wrap. Okay?
Okay.
So the flex direction property specifies the direction of the flexible items.
Okay.
The flex wrap property specifies whether the flexible items should wrap or not. Okay? Now note, if the elements are not flexible items, the flex flow property has no effect. All right?
Okay.
So in CSS, we can target several selectors and give them all the same command by using commas, like in this example here. Like if we wanted to target the header, the navigation, the main div, the aside, and the footer, we could put them, separate them with commas and give them all the same command in the curly brackets. So notice we structured them this way and gave them all the same command if you look at the style sheet. So that's like telling Tom, Dick, and Harry to all go do one job. Okay?
Okay.
So that's pretty much how you do it. You separate them with commas, and you know, there's no sense in recreating the same commands individually over and over again. So this will help you in the future. Like if you're saying, well, I want my header and my footer to be the same height. Well, if you want your header and footer to be the same height, you can use header, comma, footer, use your curly brackets, and then put a height in there, you know, in your CSS. Okay, so the order property in Flex. So the next bit of CSS goodness that we can take from using the Flex is the ability to order our divs without restructuring the HTML, or using the float commands like we did in the last lesson. So you'll notice that we floated the sidebar to the left, or we floated the sidebar to the right to get it to the right, you know. So let's examine our different div elements and our selectors and how we use the order command. Now, just for an example, we're going to target the nav and aside div. You'll notice that they're on both sides of the content. And reverse the orders. For the nav, put order, make that order be number 4, and then for the aside, make that order number be 2. And let me know when you do that, and then we'll refresh the page and check it out.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Nav and aside. Okay, so we want nav to be 4 and aside to be 2. Okay, and I saved it.
Okay. Now, if you load up the flex.html in your browser, you'll notice that now we have the aside content on the left, and this is the navigation on the right.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes it a lot easier, like whenever you're trying to put things on the left and right. I know a lot of WordPress themes now are using the flex properties in order to, you know, to have a user customize the which side. Of course, they do it with forms, but this is one of the ways that they do it.
Okay.
Okay. So you'll notice that they switch sides just by changing the order number. So this is navigation. So they switch sides. Just like that.
Okay.
Okay, so
and
go ahead.
Well, wait.
Go ahead.
I just want to. How did you? What is the? How do you know that aside where blocks 2 and 4 are? Oh, I see. You just count them. So
yep.
Number 1 is the header. So and then we made aside number 2.
Yep.
So you just count them. All right. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
We did that all in CSS. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the flex syntax structure. There are many different combinations of flex. However, you enter order first, then... Okay, you're gone? Okay, see ya. You enter order first and then enter flex size, like the examples above. Okay, you can also enter in additional sizes in pixels to give the flex div a minimum heights like this. So we notice that we're targeting the header here. The order number is 1 because we want it to show up first. We give it a height of 100 pixels and flex of 100%. So that gives us a height on our header of 100 pixels. and then we make it the width we want it to be 100%. Okay.
Okay.
Now you'll notice that flex grows with content. We enter the flex command in each main div that we want to be flexible. The corresponding div will automatically size to the other divs with the content in it. And remember, whenever I had you paste "this is navigation" over and over again?
Yeah.
Okay, now do the same thing in this. I use Lorem Ipsum text. I put a little bit of Lorem Ipsum text for you on that page at A1 Website Pro. If you scroll down,
I saw that.
you can copy that Lorem Ipsum text and put it in that sidebar a couple times, and you'll see what happens after you save it.
Okay, so I put it in the sidebar where we had the
This is this is navigation. You could just put it in there.
And that's in the flex.html? Or
Yeah, flex.html, the one that we're working in.
I replaced
Yeah, just highlight.
this is navigation.
Just highlight "this is navigation" and just replace it with that Lorem Ipsum text.
I just
Did you get it?
want to.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Are you still there?
Yeah,
Can
I can hear you now. Go ahead and just like where it says "this is navigation," just paste it in there. Just replace that text with that Lorem Ipsum text.
In the flex HTML.
Yeah, in the flex.
Right?
Yes, correct. In the flex.html.
Okay, so I did that, but so did it show up?
Yeah. Now look at
Okay.
now look at your flex.html in your browser, and you'll see.
Oh, look at that.
You'll see how everything auto stretches and your footer stays on the bottom. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of the benefits of using this, because you'll notice that whenever you did that before, we would have had to put all other kinds of CSS commands to get that footer to auto stretch, to get the main content to stretch beside it. And notice how the content stays within that div. So after you save the document and view it, you'll notice that other divs, they auto size to whatever the content is on the main div. Okay, so this is an improvement in CSS. This also makes it easier for the coder to make mobile responsive themes with less lines of code. An additional benefit is that we have a faster website because the computer does not have to read through so much code to accomplish tasks. So the shorter we make codes, the better for it is because of speed. So that's another benefit of using Flex. And then here I just have an example of we put that content in the last lesson, in my last class, we put it in the center. And you'll notice if you put it in the center or if you put it in the aside content, the other ones will stretch too, just like it did in the sidebar that you replaced. So it'll do the exact same thing. So that's important because you want a website that looks good, no matter how much content is in the sidebar or the main content. You want to auto stretch and always keep your footer on the bottom. Okay? Any questions about this Flex selector?
No.
Okay, and I documented a bunch of stuff, and it's in the document, so if you want to play around with that, see how that works, that would be a good idea for you to do.
Okay.
All right, next we're going to be talking about these selectors, okay? Now, as discussed before, selectors are targeting a tag, targeting the tag and its elements. And we call them selectors because that is exactly what we're doing in CSS. We are selecting a tag property and then adding a style. So it's important that you understand selectors. So if we look at our little chart here, on the left I have the HTML tag elements, and then on the right I have the CSS selectors that we use, right? So the first one is div ID of my ID. And then on the right, if I wanted to target that in CSS, I would put pound my ID and then my curly brackets. And then inside my curly brackets, I'd put my commands. The same, now if it was a class, like in the second one, to target a class, I would put a period, my class, and then my curly brackets and target it that way. Now notice the body tag. The body tag neither has a pound nor a period in front of it. Okay? We could target body tags like that. The same with the header. Okay? Because notice we're not putting it. Now, if we wanted to target all divs, we could make a div like we did the body tag and just put div, but that would target all of your divs instead of their IDs, and that would not be beneficial to you at all. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So the reason why we can target things like body and header tags and apply styles to them as HTML5 is because they are web standard tags. Okay? You used to be able to give an HTML tag any name and style it like mumbo jumbo, and then put your content in, put your closing tag of mumbo jumbo. But that's not a good practice to do. You want to use HTML web standards, and you should and follow the order in order to give a user a good web browsing experience. So that is why if we wanted to use mumbo jumbo, we would make that an ID instead of a tag. We wouldn't just make the tag mumbo jumbo. We would give it an ID of mumbo jumbo and then apply the styles like that. Okay? So we could give any ID that we want. But let's talk about these standard selectors, okay? So here is a universal tag. If we put an asterisk like this and then give it some CSS commands, it'll target everything in our website, okay? Everything.
Okay.
All right? So that you'll more than likely not use that unless you wanted to be sure that there wasn't a margin on anything or something of that nature.
Okay.
You can use this E type like body, you know what the body tag looks like, and then we could use these compounds, like I was showing you with the header or the sidebar. If we're going to target Tom, Dick, and Harry, we wanted Tom, Dick, and Harry to do the whole same thing. We would separate that with commas,
Okay.
Okay. And then, of course, I showed you how to do a class. You target classes with a period, and then IDs with a pound sign. So depending on what you do in the HTML, you have to target it accordingly in CSS. Okay, so standard selectors. The asterisk, like I said, the CSS will target everything. Combination selectors. If we do, for instance, if we target this EE, I think I need to redo that. But if you're targeting, let's say, you know what an unordered list is?
An unordered list?
Yeah,
No.
ordered list and unordered list. The bullet lists.
Okay.
Okay. So bullet list is an ordered list, and it starts out with a UL tag, okay? And then it starts out with LI tag. So that's what we call descendants, because first you put the tag of UL for unordered, and then you target LI for the list items. Those would be the actual items. So this is what we call descendants. So we wouldn't put a comma in between them. We would just put the ID of UL and then LI, and then put our CSS commands. We call those descendants. Okay. Now
UL and LI, like with a space, but you put a space, no comma, but there's still a space.
Yeah, no comma. You just put a space. Now, now, if we wanted to target a child, we would use the caret to the right. For example, in the body tag, maybe, or page wrap tag. Maybe we want to target, the second paragraph. We would use something like this, or target the children. Maybe we just wanted to target the paragraph tags under body, but we had another tag underneath the paragraph tags that we didn't want to do. So we could use this to target just child. Very rarely will you use this command, maybe not ever, but it's just something to have in your memory banks. This is adjacent sibling. So if we have something that is adjacent, we use the plus command. Okay?
Go
ahead.
Can you call me on the phone? Can you
Sure,
call me on the
sure.
phone?
Hey, can you give me the number here?
It's 321-627-77.
Okay, hold on. Let me go ahead. 321.
626-9577.
9577. Okay, calling you now.
Hello?
Okay, there you are.
Okay, let's see, how can I make my, how can I mute my microphone? Hold on. Oh, up here. I got it.
Yeah.
Mute.
Yeah.
Am I muted now? Am I muted now? No.
Not yet.
There we go.
There.
Oh, it just doesn't want to mute.
Okay.
See. Hold on a second. There should be a way on my computer to mute it. How does that work?
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, now you won't break up. So go back over the last thing you were saying because I couldn't hear any of it.
Yeah. Well, we're going over the combination selectors. So you know how to target Tom, Dick, and Harry with commas, right?
Yeah.
Now let's say there was Tom, and then Dick was a child of Tom. Okay. In order to target just him and not Tom, we want to target Dick. All right. So we would use the caret to the right command. You see what I'm saying? If we want to target just Dick and not Tom, we would use E, caret to the right, then E, or whatever the ID name was. Okay?
Okay.
And then let's say we wanted to target both Dick and Harry, right? We would use E plus E, or Dick plus Harry, because he'd be an adjacent sibling. And then a general sibling would be very similar to an adjacent sibling. Like I said, those last three commands there, you'll probably hardly ever use. You can get pretty much anything that you need done. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you didn't. Can you still see my screen?
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Oh, it said that you checked out. Okay, that's interesting.
Well, I don't think I'm checked out. I'm looking at the combination selectors page.
Yeah.
That's what you have, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But it shows you as off my screen now. Very, very strange.
Oh, that's so weird. Well, you know what? You know why? Because the internet dipped out.
Oh, it did.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. So hold on just a second.
Okay.
I won't see your next page.
Okay.
Let me just try to connect to a different router.
Okay. No.
If it doesn't work, I'll go on my package.
Okay.
For a while.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah. Video call lost. Okay, give me just a second. I'm going to sign on to my
No problem.
data package.
No problem.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
This isn't going to work. Hey, Paul, you have to put your data package on. I can't be on the data package and on the phone at the same time.
Okay, there you are.
Okay, it just came back up. I don't know how. This is the Marina's router that just popped on. So.
Oh, okay.
I'll try it and see how it goes.
All right. So
Okay, so I'm here.
Okay.
So I just have a picture of you right now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
let me know.
Presentation.
Let me know when you can see the screen.
Okay, now I see two blue boxes. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. All right. So you see the blue boxes?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is combination selectors. Okay. We're talking about these selectors. These are combination selectors. So you'll see here that we have an ordered list item, and you'll notice that we have the font style of bold, and the background color in red. Okay, so we're targeting that in our CSS. Now over on the left is an example of what that's targeting. You notice it's not targeting the whole ordered list. It's just targeting the list items within that ordered list. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so
Yeah.
if we did something like that, within our selectors, it would look like this, where we're targeting 1, 2, and 3. It wouldn't be targeting the OL tag. It would be targeting the LI tags within the ordered list tags, right?
I see. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So that takes us to pseudo selectors. Do you see pseudo selectors on the screen?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I see the title anyway. I don't see anything in the body.
Okay. Do you see it now?
No, but it's probably on my page.
Okay.
Pseudo selectors. Okay, I have my. Oh, there you are. Okay, a pseudo selector is any selector that has a.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It has a colon after the selector. Below are several different types of pseudo selectors, and this is how we target different elements in CSS. And let me get all these pseudo selectors up there. You'll notice the E just represents the name of our div, our class, or whatever we're targeting. Then we use the colon, and we call these pseudo selectors after those colons, and that'll target different elements within those. Like for instance, let's say that we wanted to highlight every even number on a database. Imagine in your head a database table, and you wanted all the even numbers to be red, but you wanted the odd numbers to be green. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the even numbers will be red, the odd numbers will be green. We would use a pseudo selector of even and odd, okay, which is not on this list. But that's one of the things that's what pseudo selectors do for you. So you can style it, in a way that you want.
Okay.
Okay, so here's an example of a pseudo selector in an ordered list. Okay, so we're talking about an ordered list. Those are like a bulleted list that's numbered 1, 2, 3. Okay, so on the right hand side, do you see the blue box on your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so the CSS command would be OLLI, and we're targeting the first of type. That's our pseudo selector after that colon, first of type. Notice that we're given it a font style of bold and a background color of red. So if we look on the left, under the HTML column, we could see that we're targeting that first one, and at the bottom there's an example of what it would look like.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So those are pseudo selectors, and it's probably pretty good that you get familiar with these because you're probably using them a lot.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. So here's another example. Notice that the pseudo selector in the CSS on the right is last of type, okay? And we're highlighting it in red.
Okay.
So we went from first.
So just a quick question.
Sure.
You use the words first and last.
Yeah.
But can you use the words 1, 2, or 3?
Actually,
I mean, does it?
Actually, yes, you could do that.
No?
You could do that with nth child. Okay. Now that's excuse me. That's a different type of. It's a little bit more complex, but what you would do is you would use.
So you have 3 items here. So if you have first and last, so number 2 is middle. What if you wanted to target 2?
Well, if you wanted to target 2, you would use an nth child of 1. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and we'll get into that. So
okay.
Here was your question. If you wanted to target the second one, you use nth child of, and then put 2 there. See it in parentheses?
Yes, I see that. Okay.
Okay, so if you wanted to target, now there's different ways to target these. There's nth child of, and then you won't use child, you would use something else, just use parentheses. But this is a good way to do it. So in CSS, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but if you learn to just do it this way, this will put you way ahead of the game,
Okay. Okay.
All right, so let's go to this one where we're talking about only child, okay? Now, what the CSS is looking for here is the ordered list that only has one item in it. You see that? So
Yeah.
it's only child. So it's going through all the ordered lists on the page, and it's finding one that only has one child. Okay? So that's how it's targeting that one. That's how it's not targeting the first one, 1, 2, or 3. It's targeting the one that's just all by itself. So,
okay.
So it kind of makes a little bit of sense, whenever you're doing that. Only child, last child, first child, The only one that was probably a little bit more complex is this one right here, where you're doing the nth child command, which is 2. But if now, let me show you something else. We could actually target the 1 or the 3 in this too by using the number 1 or the number 3 in nth child. Okay?
Okay.
So if you want to just get into using this nth child in the parentheses, you could get in the habit of doing that and targeting the 1 or the 3.
Okay.
Okay? So
right.
that's a good thing to do as well.
Okay.
All right. So we have pseudo element selectors, right? We have the div ID or the class, and then we have first line, where we could target the first line in something. Maybe we wanted to target the first letter. For example, in paragraph, like the old scripts, you'd have a great big first letter. Remember them old books that capitalized the first letter and made it extra large?
Yeah.
Okay, so we could use something like that. We also have before pseudo selector. Like, let's say that we wanted to put some content before. Maybe we wanted to put a hyphen or something. We would use the before tag. Or if we wanted to put something after an element, we could use this after pseudo selector. And we're going to have a little bit of examples with that. So right here, I'm targeting the main tag and then first line. And you notice that I'm using the font style of bold and the background color of red. So this is targeting the very first line in the thing. Now, as soon as that line breaks, the second line, it's not going to do anything to, because we're just targeting the first line. Okay.
Okay.
So that example, the HTML example, is a little confusing because it's only targeting lorem ipsum is, but it would actually target that very first entire line. Okay. Like it shows in the example below.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about this main before. Now you'll notice I put main and then I use the pseudo selector of before, and I put a content colon and then in double quotes I put blah in bold text. Okay, so you can see how that example, I'm putting that in there with CSS, the blah word.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now here's another pseudo selector. It's after, and we're putting the word blah of after, and you can see that after the paragraph tag we see blah. Okay. So that's how those work. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the first letter here. When we were talking about the big books, that capitalize that first letter. So if we target the main, or HTML, or our tag is main, and we target the first letter, we make that font style bold and give it a large font size of 22 pixels, you'll notice that very first letter is capitalized.
Yeah.
So that's how that will work. Okay, so the UL element states, these are pseudo-class selectors. And we have, whatever the div tag is enabled, disabled. We're just going to go over some of these form elements here.
Okay.
And we're not going to go over all of them. We'll just go over a few of them for the sake of time. So here we have input enabled, right? And then we say background color of pink. So let's say on our form, you'll notice on your form, on Nice Stuff, when that comes up, if you don't put in an email address and you click off, it colors the background in red. Well, how does it do that? Well, it uses input enabled background color pink, or input disabled background color pink. Okay, So this is
Oh,
this
okay.
is the CSS on how it's used. So you'll notice that over in the HTML we put in type text, name, last name, and then we put disabled on the tail end of that tag. Okay?
Okay.
So that's how we disabled the center one. You see there's 3 input tags there, right? We have first name, last name, and email, but we disabled this input on the second one. See how that worked?
So on the second one, you are not able to type in it at all?
No, we just
What disabled does?
no, we just disabled the color of pink on it.
Oh, just disable the color. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how that works. Now, here's another example of input enabled. Input enabled with the background color of pink is on the second one. Okay, so if you look at the input type text, name, last name. Okay, so this particular graphic is backwards. The top one and the bottom one should be both pink. All right.
Did you? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the top one, right? I have the middle pink. That's what I'm looking at right now, right?
Yeah. That one.
Top and bottom are white.
Yeah, and the top and bottom should be pink, and the middle should be white.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay. Probably duplicated a slide. All right. So if we go into this action pseudo-class selectors, we look at active, hover, and focus. Okay. Now I just got done using. You can use this not only in CSS but JavaScript as well, which we're going to be getting into on the next class. Okay, so let's look at this example. Now, you understand we give it a div ID of active when we say this is active. All right, so under the we target the div ID of active, and we use the pseudo selector of active, and we give it a background of pink and a font size of 22. It'll turn when you click on it. It'll turn this is active. Okay, see how that works? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the hover command, right? So whenever somebody hovers over something on a website, you ever hover over something and it changes? Well, we use the pseudo selector of hover. So here we're targeting the div ID of active. And then when somebody hovers over this is active, all right, it will just turn. You won't have to click on it, right, like you did the last one. Okay? So that's how that works. As soon as you hover over it, it'll change, depending on what commands that you put in the CSS. Now, you could have put as many commands as you wanted in it. You could have it when they hover, a picture appears or something like that, So.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So, like, for instance, if you hover over a picture of a T-shirt and it shows you the back side instead of the front side.
Yeah, absolutely. You could do something like that.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so here that takes us to our link and anchor pseudo selector classes, which is target, link, and visited. Okay, so you ever be on a website and you visited a link, and then whenever you come back to that same page, it'll be purple. The color of the link will be purple or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it'll be a different color. Let you know that you've already been there, done that, right? So
yeah, exactly.
So that's what these link and anchor pseudo class selectors do. They do stuff like that. So if we look at, for instance, this target, okay, you notice the color is red. So whenever we come here and we click on it, it turns red as soon as we click down on the mouse, right? So we would use the pseudo selector of target, in the P tag. Okay. So that's whenever you click down on something, and it highlights it red. All right, so here we have these language pseudo selectors, okay? So here we have a language. Now you could guess that's English, E not E, okay? Let's go into some examples of what this is all about here. This is letting the people know that you're using the English language. Now, you notice I have, remember what the asterisk symbol was for CSS? You targeted everything, remember?
Yeah.
For an asterisk in CSS, you're targeting everything. And then we use the pseudo selector of lang, which is short for language, and just say it's English, right?
Okay.
Like I said, a lot of these things you probably will never use, all right? There's a lot of things in there. I mean, they have them in there, but there's different ways to target different things. And here,
Right.
here we have different attribute selectors. For instance, I had to use this on some forms yesterday, where we're targeting an input type, and then I had to target the name equals credit card or something like that. I think you just lost your internet connection again.
Yep. Okay, just 1 second. Hold on a second.
No problem.
Should be up momentarily. Give it just a second.
No problem.
It's identifying. Okay, now I should be back on it.
Okay. There you are. Can you see attribute?
Not as bad as the last 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, right. You don't have to relocate.
Okay, yeah, I see all your attributes, yeah.
Yeah, so this is how we would target different attributes. Like in form tags. Like, for instance, I wanted to target a credit card input method yesterday. So I targeted, I used the second one. I used the name of the div it was in, and then which was input type select, or input type text. So I put input, and then by ATT I put name, which is the name attribute, and then credit card number in the value, and then I was able to target the credit card and do what I needed to do with it in CSS. So these are different attribute selectors. I mean, they're helpful. Like I said, you'll be using that second one probably more than the rest of them. Okay? The rest of them are child, all, or you want the third one, or things like that. But more than likely, you're going to get away with just using that second one whenever you have to target form elements like that.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So. Here is an example of the lang. So here's, we're targeting, notice the lang equals en, right? So over in the CSS, we're targeting p tag with the tag of lang, L-A-N-G, and we're giving it a color of red. So we targeted that tag there of lang and give it high there. Now, normally you would just use an ID or a class here, a div ID or a div class, but I was just showing you how to target, these different types of pseudo-class selectors.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
No.
Really?
No questions.
Okay. All right. Well, for on the next lesson, we're going to be talking a lot about JavaScript, and you're going to find that JavaScript and CSS are very similar. So if you get familiar with the CSS and the commands and the syntax and everything, you're going to have an easier time of understanding JavaScript. So maybe during this week, you could do like you did last week, how you flip the sidebar to the right. Well, maybe you could go into that flex and put an unordered list in there and start targeting, using a pseudo selectors to target some children. What do you think of that?